They tried to break you. They belittled you. They brought tears to your eyes. But they forgot one thing: you are a servant of Allah. And when Allah stands by your side, no one can break you. Part 1. How people break you and you. Slowly feel drained. When you're honest, people call you too soft. When you show your heart, someone uses it as a weapon. When you give your trust, it's often shattered without warning. And when you finally dare to love, they leave, without even looking back. One by one, the very things that made you you, your sincerity, your loyalty, your pure intentions, are attacked, mocked, and betrayed. You begin to feel like life is draining something from inside. Emotionally, exhausted, spiritually, disconnected, mentally, weary. And worst of all, you start to wonder, am I too much? Or am I not enough? But then comes a powerful reminder. Al-Quran, Surah Al-Ankabut, 29:2. Do people think they will be left alone because they say, "We believe and will not be tested"? This verse doesn't dismiss your pain. It validates it. It says, being broken doesn't mean you're weak. It means you're in a test, not just any test, but one custom designed by the one who knows your strength better than you do. Why do people break us? Because sometimes Allah wants to separate your soul from false attachments. Maybe that person wasn't your peace. You only thought they were. Maybe that place wasn't your safety. It just distracted you. And maybe that love wasn't meant to grow. It was meant to teach. So yes, people break you. But not because you're weak, rather because Allah is building something stronger inside you. Each heartbreak removes a layer of illusion, and slowly, painfully, you're left with something pure, just you, your scars, and your Lord. Sometimes Allah allows people to hurt you, not to punish you, but to purify you, to remind you they were never your anchor. He always was. Part 2. Even at your breaking point, Allah is preparing you for strength. Someone shattered your confidence, made you question your worth. Someone crushed your dreams, right when you were about to believe in them. Someone broke your heart, the one you gave so sincerely. But here's what you didn't see in that exact moment. Allah was protecting you. He was tearing away illusions, not to leave you empty, but to make room for something far stronger, far purer. Because when people hurt you deeply, Allah is not just watching, He's working behind the scenes, separating your soul from everything you depended on, except Him. Surah At-Tawbah, 9:51. No calamity can ever befall us except by Allah's will. This isn't just a verse, it's a spiritual lens. It tells you, that heartbreak, that loss, that silence from someone you loved, it wasn't an accident. It was a divine interruption, a pause in your path so Allah could redirect your steps toward Him. Sometimes you're broken, not to be ruined, but to be rebuilt without the parts of you that were never real, your ego, your fear, your attachments, your reliance on people. Because here's the truth. If you were never broken, you'd never seek healing from the one who actually heals. And if you were never left alone by people, you'd never know what it means to be held by Allah. So when it hurts and no one gets it, when you're crying at night and wondering, why me? Try whispering instead, Ya Allah, I surrender, I trust you. Because your breaking point is not your end, it's the beginning of a transformation, where Allah removes what was weighing you down, so you can rise again, this time without chains. Broken? Yes. But abandoned? Never. Allah is closest when your heart is furthest from the world. Part 3. When Allah is with you. Even when you're broken, you are being rebuilt. You thought it was the end. That moment when your heart shattered, when your voice trembled from silent pain, and your soul whispered, I can't do this anymore. But what if that wasn't the end? What if that was the beginning? The moment when Allah began to rebuild you, not as you were, but as who you were always meant to become. Because when Allah is with you, even in your most broken state, you are never falling apart. You are falling into His plan. Hadith, Tirmidhi. When Allah loves someone, He tests them. This hadith doesn't glorify pain, it gives purpose to it. It says, Allah doesn't test the ones He wants to destroy. He tests the ones He wants to strengthen, to elevate, to love deeply. So every time you broke, you were being softened, reshaped, and prepared. And Allah, the one who created you from nothing, was now recreating you through every wound. You will never be the same again. You will rise with patience, because you've learned to wait with a heart full of faith. Confidence, not in people, but in the one who never left. Love for Allah, deep, unshakable, and born from pain turned into prayer. Because here's the truth. Pain doesn't destroy a believer, it defines them. And every time you whispered, Ya Allah, help me, the skies heard, the angels recorded, and your soul grew. Your suffering was never in vain. Allah saw every tear, heard every silent cry, and is rebuilding you with mercy, love, and purpose. So when you feel broken, remember, you are not falling apart. You are being rebuilt by the one who knows exactly what your heart needs to. Finally be whole. Part 4. Now, no one can break you anymore. Because you've been through the storm. You've cried, fallen, prayed in silence, and walked through nights darker than most could imagine. But look at you now. You're still here. Not the same, but stronger. Because now you know, your strength was never in people. Your worth was never in their validation. Your hope was never in their promises. Now you walk differently. Not with arrogance, but with a calm, unshakable faith. Because now you've realized, your provision doesn't come from people, it comes from Allah. Your honor doesn't come from likes, praise, or attention, it comes from Allah. Your future isn't written by anyone's opinion, it is written by Allah, the best of planners. Surah Al-Imran 3:160. If Allah helps you, none can overcome you. Let that sink in. None can overcome you. Not heartbreak, not betrayal, not loss, not even your past mistakes. This verse is a declaration. You are now unbreakable, not because life became easier, but because you stopped depending on what was breakable. People can still walk away. Doors can still close. Storms may still come. But now your foundation is Allah, and nothing can shake the one whose heart is anchored in Him. You no longer panic when someone leaves, because you know the one who never leaves is still with you. You no longer fear being alone, because now, in solitude, you've tasted the sweetness of divine nearness. So yes, they broke you once, but that version of you no longer exists. Now you've risen from your pain, not bitter but better, not weaker but wiser, not broken but reborn through Allah. And when Allah rebuilds you, no one can break you again, ever. Part 5. Twist. Maybe Allah allowed you to be broken. You've asked it 100 times. Why did this happen to me? Why did they hurt me? Why did life fall apart when I was trying so hard? But here's the twist you didn't see coming. Maybe Allah allowed you to be broken on purpose. Maybe He knew if your heart never shattered, it would never have truly bowed. If the world never disappointed you, you'd still be chasing it. If they never left you, you'd still be clinging to them. Not to Him. Maybe He broke you to rebuild you into something no pain can reach. Because some transformations require complete surrender, and you don't fully surrender until you have nothing left except Allah. That loneliness, that heartbreak, that night you cried with your face on the prayer mat, they weren't empty moments. They were appointments with destiny. You were made to feel alone, so you'd discover the sweetness of divine company. You were brought low, so your du'as would rise higher. You were crushed, so your sujood would carry more soul. And now, because of those secret moments, because of those tears no one saw but Allah, a special decision has been written in the heavens, just for you. Something you haven't even imagined yet. But the angels already know your name, because you are no longer the same weak, broken soul. You are now someone who fought their way back to Allah, someone who stood up after falling, with a heart stitched together by tawakkul, trust. You're no longer defined by what broke you. You're defined by who healed you. You are not just a survivor. You are a warrior of Allah, forged in sujood, strengthened by tests, and now walking a path lit by divine love, unshaken, unbreakable, and unstoppable. Your broken heart spoke to the heavens today. Your tears bore witness. Even in silence you cried out, Ya Allah, I only want you. Now write in the comments, I am a servant of Allah, and no one can break me. Share this video with that brother or sister who still feels pain in their heart, but whom Allah is shaping, not to destroy, but to rebuild. Subscribe to Peaceful Deen, because we believe it's in broken hearts that Allah's light shines the brightest.